First is a direct answer to the question of this panel, can Europe defend itself? My answer is unequivocally yes.
Without the Americans?
Without the Americans, I mean...
How?
Well, look...
But you're relying on them for these key elements. You said earlier that Europe can defend itself without the Americans. If it comes down...
not exact, Mike, so that's not a quote.
More or less, more or less. We'll go back to the transcript.
Let's stick to the left on this one. Yeah?
More or less, more or less.
I love journalists.
Stoop against this.
But if it comes...
First is a...
Okay, I think what he is talking about is the Air Force, the fact that most of the planes that Europe has come from America and they require American pilots in order to fly them. I think this is what he means. But let's talk about the facts. Can Europe defend itself without the Americans? Well, the answer is, in theory, yes. In practice, it's very complicated, and it would have Europe restructure itself. Like, what I mean by this, the European Union has coveted this net zero bullshit that everyone else on Earth has decided that, no, we're not going to do this. And so the European Union has destroyed its energy sector in order to go for solar, in order to go for wind, when it cannot produce a single battery. Like, we're importing batteries from China, right? And so, like, what would happen if Europe is defending itself and China goes, you know what? Why should we sell you batteries? We're not going to sell you batteries anymore. So you have, like, these leaders that are suffering from mental retardation where they don't realize that in order to survive in 2026, you have to live by the fact that if you don't own it, you don't have it. Like, anyone that uses social media, anyone that grew up on the internet realizes that unless you own your data, it's not yours. During the pandemic, we noticed this, right? Like, when Google wanted to delete the video Plandemic from the internet, if you had it on Google Docs, it was deleted. If you had emails on Gmail and Google would shut down your account, it was gone. People that had smart homes, when the electricity went out or when Google had the power outage, like, all of a sudden you can't use your home. And so, like, you cannot talk about defending yourself when you haven't secured your energy sector, you haven't secured your food sector, your agricultural sector, and your water. Like, these are the three main important things. And unless Europe actually starts producing energy, like, unless we're becoming energy independent, well, you're going to be relying on someone. And if that someone is China, well, I have bad news to say, you know? Or if that someone is America and you're being antagonistic towards it, like, what do you think is going to happen? Now, going back to the initial question, can Europe defend itself? In theory, yes. Like, Europe has the manpower, it has the resources, it has the technology to actually build up a powerful military. Can it be as powerful as the United States? Again, in theory, it could. But look at how much the United States is paying for its military. Like, if you want sci-fi technology, you need to pay sci-fi money to get it. And in order to pay sci-fi money, you need to have an industry that actually exists. Like, look at the American industry and compare it to the one from Europe. I mean, America is a juggernaut. It actually produces things. It innovates things. The reason Europe doesn't is not because it doesn't have smart people, but because it has so much bureaucracy and so many regulations that it's actually incredibly difficult to have startups, to have companies that begin from zero. Because anyone that has the capital in order to do so would rather do it in America, where they have less regulations, less taxes, and the ability to actually innovate. And so if you want the European Union to build an army, well, it would have to pay for it. And if it wants to pay for it, it needs to actually have, like, a very strong industry. It needs to become an exporter. And unless that happens, no, I don't see the European Union managing to have an army that would rival the United States. But, you know, like, maybe we don't need an army that rivals the United States. I mean, modern warfare seems to be with drones. Like, you don't need F-16s anymore. You don't need the $1 million tanks. You just need loads and loads of drones. Okay. The other problem that Euro has, and a lot of people don't want to agree to this, but Europe is not a nation. Like, Europe historically has been at least four major geopolitical interests. You have Northern Europe with the northern states, which are completely different than the southern European states, which are different than the Eastern European states, which are different than the Western European states, both in political ambitions, ideology, things that they consider taboo, acceptable, unacceptable. And so the question is, like, if Europe were to have an army, who's going to lead it? Like, is it going to be the Germans again? You know, like, there is a reason why the Germans are a problem. Like, when NATO was formed, was to keep Germany down and to keep Russia away. Germany has been in 2 world wars that have started. And since the Americans came here, we actually benefited from the Great Peace. But now, apparently, well, that's not something that we need to do anymore, because Europe's strong, Europe can defend itself. It's like, okay, well, what happens if the German geopolitical interests do not align with the Polish one or the Hungarian ones? And so this is another issue, right? Because, like, in America, people from Illinois and people from Michigan don't view each other as different. But you're never going to see a Polish person willing to die for the German flag. It's very unlikely. And this is because of historical baggage. This is because of cultural issues. This is because of economic interests. Like, why would Germany want Eastern Europe to be more economically powerful than Germany itself? That's how it's viewed, you know? And so, can Europe defend itself? I mean, if it puts aside all of the historical baggage, if it matters to actually view each state equally, like if the Germans would actually have nationalism again, and they would view a Polish person, a Bulgarian, a Romanian, a British person to be equal, and they would put aside their taboos, and they would be like, okay, well, maybe the Hungarians think differently, but that's okay. Because, like, that's how the Americans do it, right? Like, they understand that the people from Texas and the people from California have, like, completely different values, but they can at least put aside that when it comes to, like, American interest. At least they did that in World War II, and they did that in World War I. I don't see the European Union doing that. You know, when they're still pressuring Eastern Europe about LGBT issues. And like, okay, LGBT issues are very important in Germany, but, like, why are you, you know, not minding your own business when it comes to Eastern Europe? And so you have, like, these, in my opinion, like, hurdles that are complete nonsense. But yeah, like, the German, like, the way they think is that they're correct and everyone else is wrong. And if other people are wrong, they need to be constrained in order to be right. And it's like, well, that's not really the American way. And that's why the Americans are united. But paying for a military the size of the United States, I find it incredibly unlikely. The nationalism is almost dead in Europe. I mean, you cannot consider nationalism to be far right for 2 decades. You cannot consider that loving your country or loving your nationality is a bad thing. I genuinely, like, don't see people dying for the EU flag. I see Polish people dying for the Polish flag. I can see Romanians dying for the Romanian flag. But I don't see Bulgarians or Hungarians dying for the EU flag. Like, that's ridiculous. Or the LGBT flag, right? Because, like, that one was in vogue as well. So there are many problems with the European Union. The possibility of them, like, having an army is also something that needs to be addressed, because the quality of life of the average citizen is going to go down. Because, like, let's be honest, the government doesn't pay for the military. It's the citizen, right? And so, like, with all the taxes that we have now, like, you would also need to start adding another tax for the European army. Like, who's going to pay for that? Are the citizens okay with it? You know, and it depends. I mean, people from Eastern Europe may be okay with it because Russia is close. But I don't see, like, the French citizen being able to have his inflation going up, or to have his taxes doubling, because now they're paying for the European Union's military, which in theory, like, they would not view it as their military. They would view it as the European Union's military. It's a very hard sell, right? And so, I don't know. again, like in theory, yes, like if everyone was to work together, if all the European Union states would put aside their differences, as the bureaucracy would go down so that Europe could have an industry and they could actually begin making money, and they would actually start paying for a military and everyone was on board and it wouldn't be led by Germany, then sure, yes, like Europe has the potential of having one of the strongest militaries on earth. Maybe not as strong as the United States because of geography, but close enough. Yeah, like it would probably be as close that if anyone attacked Europe, including the US, they would have a very difficult time. But I just don't see it happening, at least not in the current year. And I don't see like even a progress towards trying to make that happen. Because sure, you know, you can sign a couple of papers, you can say, okay, well, we have now a military, blah, blah, blah. Boom, you have it. But would the people that fight for it, would they be patriotic? Would they have the same equipment as the United States have? Would they have the same determination? Would you have the same warrior ethos? Like, that's another thing. The United States has a warrior ethos. Like, the idea that you see a soldier in public and you say thank you for your service, that's something that doesn't exist in the European Union mindset. I'm just saying, you know. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comments section. Take care.